Hey, everybody. So thank you for joining me this evening. I am so honored that you guys have come join me on a Monday evening, and I'm thrilled about the guests that I have on as well. Before we go ahead and start jumping into the conversation and the introduction, let me go ahead and get the particulars out of the way like I usually do. So if this is your first time watching us, you can follow us live. We are streaming across multiple platforms. You can catch us on our YouTube channel, and that is at Made from Scratch Broadcast there. Do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button. We are trying to build our viewership there. It lets us be a little bit more creative with some of the things that we can do. And hit the notification button as well. It'll also notify you whenever we come on live or there's new videos that we've uploaded. So check it out. Do us a favor. If you're watching on YouTube, drop something in the comments. We'll respond back as well. And if you're watching on Twitter, we are streaming live on Twitter via Periscope, and that is at MFSB Live there as well. You can drop your comments in as well, and we'll interact with those while we're having the show. And then we also stream on Facebook. So on our Facebook page, it's at the same name at Made from Scratch Broadcast there. Again, you can drop in the comments. I do know that Facebook's been having a few issues pulling comments up. So if you are commenting on Facebook and we're not getting it, do know that StreamYard has kind of let us know that they're having problems with that. So, don't worry, it's not on your end. It's a technical thing. So, and then we're also streaming live on LinkedIn. So, guys, if you're on LinkedIn, drop it in the comments as well. I would love to, see all the comments and everybody that's interacting as well. And then, of course, the last place you can find us we're streaming at our website. And that is at www.madefromscratchpodcast there. You can catch the live stream. You can also go over there and find past episodes. You can find the links to our podcast version of the show, which we do upload after the show's over. And then we do have our internet radio station, which we kind of do interactive thing there. I'm still building that up a little bit, but it's getting better and better every day. So thanks, guys, for following along. And then let me start with my guest. So she's an entrepreneur, a realtor, and a business owner. She's done a multitude of things. And if you've been on LinkedIn Live, guys, you've probably seen this evening's guest. She's hosted shows plenty of times. She's had a lot of really great guests. I mean, Quentin alums, Judy Fox. There's been so many to name. And again, she uses her hashtag, which is brand equity. And guys, if you want to check out her services and what she does as a badass realtor, guys, you can go to her website, and that is at www.virgievanhorst.com. So, guys, I guess I've given that cat out of the bag. Do me a favor and welcome Virgie Van Horst to the show.
Hey, guys. How's everyone doing out there?
All right. So this is awesome.
I love it, Gabriel. So
yes.
All
right. I try to be a little bit, I like to give a little personal touch just about every single guest that I have on. And, I do have people that sometimes that I might have who are not as well known. They don't have a really strong presence on social media. So I do kind of like to give them a little bit of an intro, build them up a little bit, and then kind of lead people to their websites or to who they are as people. And then from there, again, they get a lot of engagement. I've had people come on, they sign up for some of their workshops, some of that sort of thing while we've been doing live. So that's kind of like why I do it in the first place. And again, just kind of add a personal touch to each little episode. So that's kind of everybody's little fingerprint on their own show. So,
Thank
but again,
you so much for that.
And I love this. I love the fact that I'm actually having you on because you're one of the, I say I have a list of 10 people who I say really influenced me along my journey, especially on LinkedIn. And you are one of the 10. I'll tell you that right now, because I started getting interactive watching you do your live shows, and from the beginning, I knew that there was something different about the way you did your shows and the way that you interacted with people, which I loved. You had you had a free flow, you had conversation, you had interaction with people, and that's one of the things that I really loved when I first started catching a lot of these live shows. So, and of course, I would jump in and start interacting because this is fun. I love this. So
I remember you on the lives. I remember you were an amazing engager. You were what I would call a super engager.
So one of the things that really caught my attention was what you had an episode live where you had Quentin alums on, and you were talking about how he inspired your journey into doing lives and having him on, and how much you were thrilled. So here it is. Now we've turned the tails. You've kind of influenced me. Here I am getting my opportunity to have you on my show, which is like, wow, to myself, even still kind of believing that and telling you
did it.
Yeah, that because of some of the things that you did, and I turned around and did it myself. So first of all, thank you. All the gratitude in the world for being able to help me along my journey. And again, you did essentially you did help me get, of course, access to LinkedIn Live. You were one of the first ones to say, hey, I want to have you on. Let's get you on and share you on LinkedIn whenever I had put my post out. So I'm also grateful for that. And again, I'm so thrilled to have you here. So kind of tell us a little bit about what you've been doing lately, because I know that,
I've been MIA for 4 weeks.
Yeah, because again, you would usually see you all over social media going, wow. And, I kind of said, well, here's one or two things. Usually when I see people disappear from social media, there's one or two things happening.
Okay.
One is really good. They've gotten into something that's really taking them off the charts, and they're super busy, and their lives are just going to a whole nother level, which is awesome.
Yes.
Or it's number two, which has something really bad has happened, or they just wanted to get away from social media because they couldn't, just frayed them a little bit. They get burned out. So let's talk about So let's talk about what you've been doing lately. So
first, before we get into that, I wanted to say thank you so much, because I do remember, you on my lives. I remember in the very beginning, it was like in December. I do remember Quentin Olums, and I remember when I told him how much. And I also remember how uncomfortable it made him to tell him like all that, because he was like, "What did I do? What do I do?" But the thing is it does make such a difference, and the fact that I was able to make a difference for you. And the fact that you're telling me this, like, you don't know how much that means to me and how much that warms my heart, because I do this for some of the same reasons that you said. Because one, I was going through my own personal journey. I was growing. I was learning. I wanted to give gratitude to the people that I felt that, really embraced something that I felt I didn't embrace early enough. So I was like giving props to them for that. And so I know how important that was for me, and for me to be that for somebody else, it's like full circle, like, wow, that's huge. So thank you so much for that. And I'm so proud, speak that you've been doing, Gabriel, like mad respect. I know people that have been trying to get LinkedIn Live. You persevered, you set a laser focus, and you never ever gave up after being told no multiple times. You kept pushing through, and that's what it takes. It's that mindset that I preach about and I talk about. So just so proud of you, and I'm so proud I was part of that. So moving on, yes, I have been MIA for 4 weeks. This is really weird for me, and it was not my plan. Yeah. I am a natural coach, okay? I'm coaching everybody online, but I also inadvertently kind of coach people that I'm close to. One of them being my husband, who did not sign up to be coached by me.
Right?
I try not to, but I don't know how not to be me. And I can see somebody's greatness, and I see that they're not really fully aligned with something they're passionate about. I know that there's something missing. And my husband is an amazing guy. He's in the financial markets. He's an internet marketer. But I just noticed that something was just missing. And he loves music and cooking. And it just kept telling me, you need to focus on your passions. Well, during all this coronavirus, I was just peacefully in self-quarantine on my own. And during that time, I was supporting a lot of local businesses, a lot of the restaurants. I did a video for a Parma Pizzeria, which is in my neighborhood, another one, Cupid Hot Dogs, because I really was trying to preach, brand equity to offline businesses about how they can embrace, brand equity, building their digital trust. So as I'm doing this, and I'm going to all these different restaurants, I noticed one of my favorite restaurants has a sign that says they're basically been there for 15 years. They've given their life to this. It's been an amazing experience, but they're basically done. And they're closing up shop on March 15th or March 28th. And I was like, oh my gosh, for some reason I would go home and then this thought in my mind was, well, maybe we can save it. And it kept coming back. Maybe we can save it over and over again until I made my husband go back, get me a Philly cheesesteak and talk to the owner. And they had a conversation and they worked something out that where we could actually continue saving this legacy. And that's what we've been doing for the past month. And I actually thought that I was going to videotape this whole journey and document it. And I was going to scale this with social media and blah. Whew, I have been in restaurantrepreneur boot camp, seriously. The previous owner doesn't care about social media. He doesn't care about video. He's like, you need to understand about inventory, running a restaurant, this. So literally I've been completely offline and I was overwhelmed. I'm used to being a boss in my own world. And this time I'm learning a completely new thing. And it was the hardest, most grueling, but most rewarding and exciting thing I've done in a while because I was using a new muscle. I mean, lots of new muscles, but really it's a new experience. And then, I also see a light in my husband's eyes, and this is actually really for him. So if any of you have ever been over my house and have actually eaten a meal at my home, this would make a lot more sense to you. So we basically took over a restaurant in the middle of Corona time, which is crazy because this was before the California lockdown. And then we were this close to backing out. And then, like I said, the universe works in mysterious ways. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, but I don't know why we felt we could do this. And we've been doing it and we are doing it. And we've been getting so much gratitude from the community for saving this local shop that actually has been a staple in my community for so long. So I'm super grateful for that. But I understand the work that goes into running an offline business. And when I was talking about, you need to do your online, I understand how hard it is now from personal experience. So what I'm trying to do is develop strategies for the small businesses in my community, like helping them with landing pages to get their, helping them with the POS systems, knowledge that I have so they actually can take their offline and go online. So it's really full circle everything that I do, but it really took me out of my zone so I can really understand things from a different perspective so I can come back and do what I do and really offer the knowledge where people are at right now.
Yeah, because there's a lot that goes into, it's funny that you were talking about this because my background and my family have been running a business. We've been tied to the restaurant wholesale business for the last 70 years.
Really?
So, yeah. So
I would never known that about you.
So it's kind of funny that you're mentioning that, but I understand a lot of what goes into running a restaurant. So it is a lot of work, right? So especially a restaurant that hasn't had integrations like that into social media or upgrading
old school POS system. Like I went in there thinking I was going to change everything, but like I said, you can't change anything until you understand the state that it's in.
Yes.
What exactly you need to perfect and change to streamline a system.
Yeah.
With me coming in with I'll do this, this, and this, I really needed to take a step back and learn from the old school methods, really what it was working, because he had a system that worked. But then now trying to figure out the hybrid between the two.
Yeah, and that's the part that's kind of difficult, is trying to bring something old school integrated into what we're doing now, so that you could actually handle business operations and not have to be on site, hands-on, every single day, because that's a difficult thing to be tethered to a business like that, when especially when you have a lot of other things that you're trying to do. So it is important to integrate those things, because this is the same process that actually my family's going through. My cousin and her business are doing the same thing.
Right.
She's actually built a little bit of an internet presence through Facebook, and which is good. But again, I've been pushing her to also get a little bit more involved in as far as integrating a different POS system, so you can start building, first of all, inventories, cost, because everything costs money. So
Every
the, the,
single little tiny little drop.
and here's the thing about running a restaurant, that you don't have to deal with certain other companies, right? So real estate, a house is a house. A house is going to stay a house 10 years, 20 years. In the restaurant business, you're dealing with perishables. So if you don't control waste, and if you don't control how you order and these sort of things, you can lose the money. You can take it into shorts, literally, by not being able to know what you use, how often you use it, what it costs, so that you can start looking at profit margins. You can start looking. There's a whole lot that goes into it. And believe me, I know you're learning all this stuff.
It is. I thought I knew a lot, and it's awesome, because the previous owner he's taught me in such a, I mean, it's been boot camp. I've been talking 12 hours a day, just strictly this. And literally I was like, okay, I was like, oh, screw this. I need to be like really focused, because this is serious right here. There's a lot of stuff. So yeah, I've been really, he's teaching me how to run a restaurant, one, but most importantly, he's teaching me how to run his restaurant, specifically on how it's been running for 15 years, because he's one guy who ran this shop with two people, like a science, like meticulous. So for me, I've got three people, including myself, like running Haggard just to keep what he's been doing. And it's only because it's not second nature yet. So we've actually, so this is our fourth week in, and we're doing, everything's getting better. I'm really excited to actually have an employee and hire another employee in this state. I mean, it's really, really crazy. And the support from the community has been really, really amazing. And really, we're just focusing on keeping the food the same way. And then next step is me to add all the layers, like the POS system. Like I have a backup POS system that I'm kind of working on putting the menu in. But then it's all slow. You just can't switch it one day, because then you got bottlenecks,
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah. It's going to take a process, because then at some point you want to start integrating a lot of the things that we have now with technology. So you have companies like Uber and Grubhub, and so you want to get all this stuff online, so that people, again, we kind of started setting this up for my cousin's business. I want to say about 8 or 9 months back, right? So we started integrating all this stuff. Now it's actually paying off for them, because people cannot go into some of these places. So guess what? Once you've already started integrating and pushing that, then people get familiar with it, and now they're getting orders hand over fist.
Yeah.
Dealing with online orders coming in, and it's pretty much in out.
Just on what the consumer needed at the moment, which is the current situation. They needed to be able to get what they needed without having staying at home safe. Being able to go in places. Their kids are at home. I mean, it's a really, really, really tough time. And I've been able, being, in self-quarantine, I was not talking to anybody except for, like you and lives and different people, but not really in the community. So being in my community and seeing people, on curbside takeout and talking to them, you really, really get to feel what people are feeling and what they're going through. And it's just, it's a really tough time. I'm grateful that a lot of people have been able to work from home. That's why I'm so grateful for technology and the internet.
Yes. So it's been so crazy with things have been changing. But again, you're taking over a business that the community loves, number one. And over time, you'll start seeing those people will start building these really deep personal relationships with what you do, and they become really thankful for what you've been doing, how you integrate these sorts of things. And even now, my cousin and her business, she gets regular customers to like bring them homemade food, or they bring them food all the time because they know they're up there working their butts off,
Yeah.
doing all these things because it is, it's not like some of the bigger corporate restaurants where there's a 20-person staff that can handle each and every single thing. It's really a mom and pop that's trying to take it up to the next level, and it takes a lot of work. But I commend you for taking this on, number one, because you're continuing a tradition somebody started,
Yes.
and it gets to continue those recipes, those that.
I didn't realize I was part of this family that, like, I thought I was just like this fan, and like here I am, like, oh my God, I just need to keep it for me, and everybody else that's coming in is like thanking me, like even crying, like, oh my God, during this time something that we like always came every week disappeared. It was like, what's happening in the world, all this, and then us coming back was almost like that one thing that, okay, there is some sort of consistency. So like that's how I just knew that's like, wow, okay, it was very scared, but I knew that we made the right decision because of all the gratitude that was coming in from us, and all the gratitude. You just go with your gut. You got to go with sometimes what feels right, even though it's scary. I think we talked about not letting fear control you, letting fear, fear is a guide, if there's something it can help you course correct, but don't let it keep you stuck,
No.
especially in times like now. I did that video where it said, in 2008, I got hit really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I got very paralyzed by it, and I got into depression, and instead of embracing the change that was happening and realize everything happened for a reason, I'm going to get through this, we'll fare through it, I was victim mode. I started like, no, I got to hold on to it. No, you can't. It can't. And that mentality kept me from growing. So this second time around, I just told myself, whatever just kept me growing and positive, I was going to continue doing. And this is one of those things. And now my husband has got like this new project. My family, my kids are excited about it. It's like they're actually able to see the work in a different way, because even though they saw me working online, they really never got to see the labor was all in here. You know what I mean? Spend like 5 hours like building a website or programming something, and then nobody will know like why it took me 5 hours. It's like because that line of code was not working.
Yeah.
But when the kids see this, they see it. They're like, "Wow, Mom, you're working really hard." I'm like, "Yeah, but I was working really hard before." It was a different type of work,
Yeah. So
it's good for them to see too.
Yeah, and again, they start learning that that feeling of entrepreneurship very early. Mm-hmm. And now they'll get to continue it, seeing you do that, because that's how I grew up. I saw my grandparents doing it. They started this business back in 1950.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my grandmother, my grandfather came back from, or my grandfather, when he came back from World War II, he and my grandmother took everything that they had and threw it into this business and started it in a small community. And again, it grew over time, and they actually grew it to where it was able to start sustaining multiple people, nice. Multiple households. So it continued to grow like that. And then, of course, seeing my father go into it, and then even myself for a little while got into it. I still have family members that are still involved with it. I got out of it because it wasn't just...
It wasn't your thing.
Yeah, it wasn't my cup of tea. I wanted to go out and discover something else. So, but again, it's always there. It's always, you can always go back to it. It's a wonderful thing to have that, and to know that, hey, your, family traditions gets to still be carried on, even if it's not, a family member. It goes beyond, and it carries a legacy. So,
legacy, exactly. That's what I feel with this, and I think it's really cool because it gives my husband this other breath of fresh air that I feel that he really needed, something that was a little bit more connected to his passions. It also gave, and it's so funny because even me speaking to all the offline businesses, it gave me more lead by example, instead of like, here, listen to me, I'm just a brand equity, I do realty, and it works on anything. But now I can say, hey, I'm also a small business owner, and let me show you how these digital marketing strategies with an old school business actually can help, and how you can actually still thrive in times like this, instead of feeling like, oh, we're done, we're out, we have no we're not technology technically savvy, we can't do this. The fact is
Yeah.
you can. And I've always wanted to educate people. I wanted to tell people how they could take their passions and make it happen. Like
Yeah.
what you're doing,
Yes.
exactly what you're doing. And like even for you, like what's next level? And you're like, I'm going to build a website. What's next level after that? I'm going to do a course. Then it's affiliate marketing. Like those are the next levels. And I know how to do all of that, like second nature to me. So me able to give that gift or that knowledge that you can do this. Like you don't have to hire a programmer. You just need to have what you said earlier is a clear message.
Yes.
The clarity of your message is more important than the fanciest website in the world. Like your lander could be just your profile page on LinkedIn. If you have a crystal clear message, if you know exactly what it is that you want to achieve, your goal and who you want to talk to, your target audience, you don't need all that fancy stuff. You really could do it just with just putting yourself out there. That next level is just to scale to all the people who aren't on LinkedIn, to people who are finding you through Google or searches. That's next level. So
yeah,
to me, that's what this is. Always growing, always keeping yourself on the cutting edge of stuff, and always growing. I think that's the most important thing. Always growing and having an open mind to see opportunity where others don't.
yeah. And again, what you're telling me, and what you're using and integrating into your own life, right? These are just the prime examples of why you can actually use you can use fear in a good way or in a bad way. You can let it control you, cripple you, push you down, cause you into depression, cause you from making these steps, or you can use it to
know you.
Yes. So here you are. I'm going to jump into something I have nothing, I don't know nothing about. I have not the first inclination of how to run a restaurant, but I'm not going to let fear stop me from making the yes or no decision to go ahead and start doing this. So, hats off for even taking that step.
Here I was already set up in my digital space and everything else, and then I went, you know what? I think I'm just going to go completely offline into a business that's being very, very challenged right now and see if I can make that work. I don't know why I do these things. I always find myself like, I challenge myself. I don't think I like being too comfortable. I think that's what it is.
Yes, and I love that word challenges, because that's what I try to do every single day.
You are, Gabriel, and that's why you've grown so much in 2 months. In 2 months, you went from not having LinkedIn Live to doing a video.
Oh,
and now your 50th episode. I mean, that's.
Thank you. I'm truly humbled, and
you should be proud.
and for me, I think that above all, I like to share the message that you just have to take that first step, folks. That's really what it's all about. It's just taking action. And again, you don't have to have all the answers. Don't wait.
You're not. You don't have the answers. The strategy is in the doing, because as you're moving forward, you're realizing, oh, that didn't work, but this does. This doesn't work, but that does. Okay, now we do this. And that is the only way to actually develop a strategy, because you can plan all you want. I've been a part of really brilliant business plans that took 6 months to write. They were full of shit. They're full of it. Nothing on that business plan that took 6 months. Nothing went according to plan. You got one cogwheel, everything gets thrown out, and you have to run it. The strategy is in the doing. It is absolutely 100% in the doing.
And that's, I think that's sometimes it's a good and bad thing to have a plan like that, but sometimes that's kind of a fatal flaw in a business plan, is the fact that you don't have all the variables, number one, and then you're using projections on stuff that you don't even have to kind of. They're
hypotheticals. They're like, my EBITDA is $2 million, and we were just open 6 months ago. We're like,
yeah.
Get back to me when you.
Yeah, so you're essentially asking to build a business plan and go, well, what kind of ROI can I expect in 5 years? Or like, well, first of all, am I going to be business in 5 years? And number two, I mean, you're basing it off of examples of other things because there's not a real solid business plan that is not based loosely off of somebody else's business.
Right.
So, and if that business is working perfectly, you can't just expect it to go, well, I'll just take his business plan and apply it to me. It doesn't work that way.
Does it? Are you sure? Are you sure I just can't do this little thing and apply it? Sure.
Yeah. You've been in business for 50 years. Let me take your business plan and just start from scratch and go from there. And I'll be hunky dory and I'll be making millions of dollars. It's
like, but I do really, really, really respect people with experience, because like the previous owner, his 15 years of experience, like the first week, not first day. Okay. First, I learned real quick. First day, I was like, okay, I can do it all. Right. And I was like, no, no. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm good out for this. But having a mentor, having somebody that already went down the road that you're about to go on and already made those mistakes and is saying, hey, watch out for that pothole, watch out for this over here. You want to respect that knowledge wholeheartedly, because that is why I'm able to take over a restaurant in a matter of 2.5 weeks, as opposed to failing pretty much. I mean, that's what I'm going to say, failing pretty much. There is no in between, because I would be scrambling. I could lose customers. I would be depleted. It would not be fun. So basically his mentorship, his coaching, him telling me everything he did wrong and how he figured out how to do it right has been such a wealth of information. He did a data dump of 15 years on me within the first week, and it was a complete overload. But now I already have things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to watch out, because I see that pothole that he told me about 2 weeks, and this is all like a hypothetical, like, virtual pothole in my head, but these are all these blocks. These are the things that are coming up. Oh, we're going to run out of this. Oh my gosh. So that knowledge, that even me being a coach and a mentor, it really helps me put even more of a value on what I was offering. You really realize, oh my gosh, that is huge, because he just saved me the business one. But even if he just saved me 2 years, if he shaved 2 years off my learning curve in 2 weeks, whoa, like it was worth everything and more,
Yes, exactly. Because you can, again, doesn't matter how big or how small business is. And I'm going to use this one here as an example. Here in the state of Texas, there's a company called Taco Cabana, and Taco Cabana has kind of like a quick drive-through service, kind of like a Taco Bell, if you would imagine, but a little bit more. So they opened a secondary line of businesses, and they dumped in $80 million, no, mind you, into this secondary business, which was based off of, like, it was called Pollo Tropical was the name of what it was. And it was the same sort of deal, except it was more catered towards Caribbean side of the cuisine, right? So they spent $80 million putting it into the business plan, buying these properties, building these locations, branding everything. And within 6 months, they were gone.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take on. And it doesn't matter the size of the business, how well planned you can have it out. That kind of tells you what can happen in the restaurant business. So there's a lot of variables. So again, taking the experience of somebody who's had 15 years in this business and letting them kind of teach you and coach you into the ways of learning this
for you. Yeah.
This is going to help you tremendously take these steps forward. And then at some point, once you have a better grasp and handle on learning these aspects, you'll be able to start integrating the things that you know and that you're comfortable doing, so that you can be able to do a little bit of the old world and a new world and kind of just go forward from there, which I love the fact that you're doing this, Virg.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Well, that's the thing, is it really was kind of a reverse for me. And in my mind, I know where I'm going to take this. I know where I'm going with it, because what I've been doing. Before, I've been working with the City of Commerce here, working on small business masterminds. It's because I just, we were talking about helping people where they need it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people right now that need it, and there's a lot of people that are going to be taken out right now that really don't need to be, if they were able to just a lot of these people already know their restaurants. They already know everything. They just need to get to the next level. So if I can just give them that little bit of inspiration and lead by example and help them, then that makes me feel good, because like you said in the beginning, like, why do we do this? It's something that fuels both you and I. I mean, we're not just here because we don't have anything better to do.
Right. Okay.
This, I like, thank you. Like when I saw you go live, like I for 4 weeks I've been offline, but I remember I was like in the middle of something and saw the notification. I was like, okay, Gabriel Leo live. I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, he got live. I was like, hold on, guys. I know this guy now.
Yeah.
And then I saw you talking with Brian. I instantly went in there, and I hadn't commented on anybody's post, but I instantly went, I was like, high five, good job.
Right. So,
and then Brian was in there, and then you said it was thanks because of one of my video and other people's videos you sent in. And I was just like, yeah. I'm doing live and social and hustling over here. Like, there are so many messages, Gabriel, from people who were like, Virgie, are you okay? Do you have Are you okay? Like, no, I'm fine. I'm really good.
Yeah. So, and again, that's kind of like where I say, even now that you might step away or you're not present, you're still making impact. So things that you've done prior are still that's why I'd say impact.
You keeping me alive now.
So impact doesn't have to be right away. Impact can happen a week, a month, a year, 10 years. So starting
that's brand equity, that's building that digital footprint.
That's right.
You never know. You build that up, and it could be, like you said, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. It could be that one little video that just went, and all of a sudden all your other stuff gets looked at. I believe that. I believe you lay down that foundation. You don't care about what that one piece of content does. You do it because you love it, and because that message needed to get out, and because you couldn't hold it in anymore. And that's literally what it is. With these lives, why I loved lives is because it didn't make me think. I got to just be, and really, really connect with people. And I had questions and stuff, but I went off the cuff. Like, I just wanted to just be like, let's just talk, because this is real. And I think if we are like talking about everything so programmed and everything so like, oh, we need this question, you're not going to get that rawness out of it. Like, and that's what I love is understanding where people struggled and how they got through it. Because right now, so many people are trying to figure out maybe how to get out of, where they are, or how to get to that next level. We all are. We all have issues, and the more we embrace the fact that we all have issues, we all have things that we're working through, and that the more we talk about it, the easier it'll be to get through it.
No, most definitely. And, that's why I kind of like was drawn to when you first were doing it. I like the free form. I like to have open conversations. Now, I do kind of like you. I do set up questions prior for some guests, because it does make them feel comfortable, especially if they haven't been doing live streaming video, that sort of thing. Yes. So it kind of makes them feel relaxed, and that's why I kind of like to meet with them ahead of time to kind of make them feel, at ease with me when we get on here. And then I tell them, hey, when we're done, you'll see we would have talked an hour, and won't even know it. It'll feel like a blink of an eye, because the conversation is really good. What we're talking about, what we're sharing. And again, you get to come on and talk about yourself and your message and what you really care about, what you're really passionate about. And I mean, if you're having a problem doing that, then, your problems stem deeper than just me trying to have a conversation with you. If you come on here and you can be passionate about whatever it is you want to talk about, mental health, you want to talk about business, or you want to talk about whatever, I can be here to help bring that out of you. We can stem these conversations, and I don't have to have a setup. Yeah, I don't have to have a setup format. I don't. Again, I had Brian on. Me and Brian talked for 2 hours, so it wasn't like my shows are 30 minutes. Let's cut it off. We're done. Yeah. The conversation, if it's going really good, if we're sharing things, if we're talking about things that we really care about and we're really passionate about, and we're bringing a message that can help impact people and do what I really want to get across, then I will talk as long as it is necessary. So, um,
Yeah.
I love the free form conversation more than I actually do having a structure. And there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
It works best for some people. Believe me, I understand. But again, I tell people, they come on here and they say, "Hey, when they come on, what kind of vibe should I? Is it too strict? Come
Your
on,
vibe. Your vibe. You are.
just come on and be who you are. That's what I want out of you."
Absolutely. That's what everybody wants out of everyone. People want, it's about being real. And it's not in business and personal. The best thing you can do is be as real, as candid as possible, because you will get respect out of that. Because
Yeah,
if you tell somebody what the truth, good, bad, or ugly, it sucks. And nobody wants to tell somebody that they don't want to hear, you know? But you know what? If you do and you own it, at least they have that respect for you. You know, at least you know where you stand. And that to me is just be who you are, own who you are. And that wasn't always easy for me to do, honestly, before my personal journey.
yeah,
Um, I just started video in 2018. God, it's going on almost 3 years now, but 2000, it's funny how time goes by, but it wasn't always easy for me. It was actually very hard. Do you want to know why? Is because I'm older and I have to look like I have it together. Why do I have? I mean, I'm going to come out being 40 and tell you, oh God, I had to restart all over at this age and blah. No, I wanted to feel like I had it together. But then when I started coming on LinkedIn and I realized how people were being so vulnerable, and I don't know if you remember, but when Shay first said about her depression, I remember like, ooh, I wonder how that's going to go for her. And I remember thinking that, and that was my conditioned mindset of like, oh, I wonder how it's going to go. You shouldn't talk about that, because I came from I'm not 27. I came from a time where you didn't speak about that stuff.
yeah,
It wasn't okay to talk about that stuff. So for me, it was a little bit of letting go of what I thought was okay and wasn't okay, and then the cliche of that. And I remember just thinking that's where badass came from. That's when I just said, you know what? Just own it like a badass. Own who you truly are with definitive purpose, because all the other stuff is just bullshit. It's other layers of stuff that gets clouded in your head that makes you feel like you need to be or behave a certain way, but you're putting on a front. And that
yeah.
whole time you're stuck and you're not being true. And then it's just like this clash inside your head. And I just went, I can't anymore. Like, I need complete peace of mind. I'm not okay. These are my issues. Here's what I'm dealing with. And this is how I'm fixing it. And this is what I'm doing to get past it. And once you're able to do that, all that weight starts releasing. You know, even like
Yes.
to Andrew, and he talked about having a bird cage and how it was all these scars and all this buildup. But once you're just like, speak to it to someone and just release it, it is no longer something that you are encaged by, something that you're hiding behind, because now you've freed yourself from it. And I empower everyone to just, whatever that thing is, just whatever's holding you back, it's probably way worse in your head than it is once you let it go.
Yes, and that was, I remember that specifically because I really connected with Andrew. His the message, the way he was, and being that open. I find that refreshing, though. That's kind of what I found refreshing about LinkedIn in the first place, was the fact that a lot of people were coming on here and being open and wearing their emotions on their sleeves and sharing these things. And I go, okay, that's like counterculture. Yeah, that's counterculture of what social media has done, because most people always want to show you the best aspect of their life. So influencers on Instagram are
perfect.
Yeah. So they're showing their great vacation. They're showing all of these things going on, the nice pool in the back of the house. And yet here they're on the verge of divorce or bankruptcy or all these other things where, you know, again, that's not real life. You're just trying to show that front. And when I came here, I was like, okay, these are just people being people. I can totally dig this.
And not like real world, like MTV real world real. Like, not like that kind of real in a way that my age group has never seen. Like,
yes,
really is never seen. And I can say that freely. I can say that confidently because I know if I were to say, if I came around in like 1999 and I went to my work and said, I have mental health issues, I'm dealing with some depression, they would have been like, how do we get rid of this girl?
Yeah.
It's not something to be like, we'd be like, oh my gosh, well, let's say we have a class for this, or how can we support you? You know, it's just a different time. And now it's like, there's groups for it. It's almost like once you say it, it's almost like, oh, me too. Well, it's almost like, well, aren't we all? You know, because honestly, mental health was always something that you thought people were crazy. But what it is, it's a muscle. It's the strongest muscle we have. And we go to the gym to work this one out, which I should probably work up this one a little bit more.
Sure.
We work all these muscles out. But this one, it's not okay to say, I want to work on my mental health. But you can work on your physical health. And that's like, all day long. Awesome. Work on what you're eating, what you're digesting, but not what you're consuming, not what you're reading, not what you're watching. Like that should be just as important. It's the most important, actually.
Yeah,
because with that mindset will take you to the gym. That mindset will put the right food in your body. That we need to start here.
Yeah, and you're speaking my language because
I know
everything that you just said. I literally had a conversation with somebody earlier today, and that's what we talked about. Was I tell people at some point you got to start instilling a good mental wellness health program, right? So I mean, and to your point, exactly what I said, what you said, word for word. You'll go spend 4 or 5 hours in the gym. You'll go make sure you check your BMI and you'll check all these things, but yet
that people can see.
Yeah, but you won't check this up here. You could have, bipolar. Who knows? Whatever the disorder, whatever problems, whatever triggers,
whatever voices you have, whatever limiting beliefs you programmed in there or were programmed in there without even you really realizing it. It's all about becoming truly self-aware without self-sabotage. Becoming self-aware without beating yourself up. Like, yeah, I fucked up. That was not right. But then not going into, I'm such a horrible person. I'm so upset. You can't do that. You can go, man, I really fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. How could I take in that situation and made it better? Now, if I would have done this would have made that better. Okay, that's what I'm going to do next time. So now when this happens again, this is what my plan is. But if you go into self-sabotage, you're going to go into this weird freaking like rut and you'll never get out of it. So you have to be self-aware and forgive yourself because we all make mistakes. And the fact that you're aware of it gives you the power, to change it.
Yes, exactly 100%. And
you empower yourself. The more you are aware of something, you're actually empowering yourself. And that, what we normally do is we can become aware and then we disempower ourselves because we're self-sabotaging because we're mad that we made that stupid mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just repeating that cycle again. So we have to look, yes, I did this and I forgive myself and now I'm aware and now I have the power to change it.
Yes.
And that's where that is powerful right there.
Yes. Awesome. Exactly what you're talking about, because I do study a lot of mental health because I think it's vitally important for you to grow as a person to, first of all, understand a lot of these things, right? So again, to self-awareness. But how do you obtain self-awareness? First of all, you're going to have to start digging. You're going to have to dig deep first inside of yourself. And
you're gonna have to be your best friend and your worst critic.
At the same time.
But with knowing that you're not going to sabotage yourself, knowing that you're doing it to make yourself better, that you're showing yourself the darkness so that you can see the light, so you can act,
Because again, we all have, I tell everybody, look, we all have these emotions and we all have these deep-seated triggers. They never go away. They never do. They're implanted in your mind subconsciously, and they sit there. And at certain times, certain triggers, a smell, an emotion, a touch, a thing can draw these things.
It says something.
Yes, can draw these things to the surface. Now, that's where you get into where self-awareness is and learning what these triggers are. how to feel these emotions, learn what to do once they're there,
Mhm.
and to not let them bring you back to that place that you left. Because again, you know what the alternative is once, if you put your mind back into that state, you know. I've been in that dark place. I sure as hell do not want to go back there again. So, what are some of the things you do to get yourself out of these things? Rhythms, you can, meditation. There's again, there's so many different ways, so
You
many
gotta
resources.
find the thing that works for you.
You
Yeah,
exactly,
that's the thing, because it's not one thing that works for everyone.
buddy.
Yeah,
Every,
but the other thing is, if what we were talking about was in the tangible world, if there
Mhm.
was a very negative room that was very, very bad, that you went in there, you got hurt and you felt crappy, but then there was another room that you felt positive, like it would be very easy to make that decision. But what's happening is that we're doing this to ourselves in our own heads privately.
Right.
Privately.
So
And we are our worst critics. We are really not being kind to ourselves. And I know this because I do it myself. And I have to course correct in the moment and go, what am I doing? Like I know I'm stressed out. I know I messed up, but now I just went into victim and then self-sabotage mode, and I need to stop. So you literally have to cancel, step way back, because this is not something that I flipped the switch and now I'm like cured of it. I'm perfect. No, it's a decision and a choice you make daily, and sometimes multiple times in a day.
yes,
We
it it is a ever
make one day.
yes, it is an ever changing thing. It can be hour to hour. It's on in some days it can be hour to hour, minute to minute. Just figuring out these sort of things. So, and again, you're throwing yourself into a new situation, a new thing that you're very unfamiliar with. So, being prepared mentally is going to be one of the better advantages, and going forward, because again, you are going to face. I don't know any business that hasn't faced these heartaches, these headaches, these everything that goes along with learning something new.
You are an entrepreneur and you've gone through this unscathed. You're not really an entrepreneur. You're just some guy who got really, really lucky. But
And
it's it's
there, yeah, there's people out there you that do that. Hey, let me tell you what, you're the exception. You're not the rule. So, um,
it's true. But then for how long? And
yeah,
that's the thing, is you're always reinventing yourself. Like I've had 3 businesses, that were successful, but I've had how many failures in that? You know what I mean? And,
yes,
and if you let the failures define you, then you can't. You have to celebrate your little successes and use your failures as your lessons.
yes. So, you know, I so love what we've been talking about this evening, and I'm so glad that you came on this evening again to kind of update everybody where. So, guys, yeah. So, guys, if you haven't seen Virgie around, now you know, and you can always go catch us on the replay whenever you say, "Hey, I haven't seen Virgie." Just type it in. You'll see the tags on there. You see where she's been at. But that's awesome, though. I love the fact that you're taking this leap. Um, again, because again, you're making yourself uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be learning a new experience, and again, in the end, success or failure, you can always use what you've learned and teach other people what lessons they can apply to their own small businesses, and entrepreneurs getting out there and really doing it.
Yeah.
Who have to actually maintain a brick and mortar business.
Right.
It's a little bit different.
It's a lot different, but the digital strategies that can be implemented are very much the
Same, yes, and
that's the thing that a lot of the small business owners don't realize, is because so much has changed in the digital world that has made it easier. So full circle, like you said in the universe, you don't know why certain things happen, but I believe 2 months from now, it's all going to be crystal clear. Like right now, I can kind of like in the moment, I'm like, I get this. Like this is making sense to me. But like right now, I'm not able to do what it is that I want to do yet. But it's because I have to learn. I have to pay my dues. I'm being initiated as a restaurantrepreneur right now. So.
Yeah, so you're getting the hands-on that I think everybody which is to me the best way to possibly learn anything. It's just
the only way. Look at you. You have been hands-on. You didn't hire somebody. You didn't, you just did it. You did it, and you didn't know what you were doing, but you did. You started doing the action, and then 1 minute you didn't know how to do something, and then you're like, oh, I did it. Now I know how to do that.
Yeah. So, and eventually, and I'm still learning these things every single day. So
dude, you're streaming on Periscope, Twitch, LinkedIn, like that. That's Come on. And tips from you, Gabriel.
Yeah. So, and again, I think for me and going forward, because I love learning all this stuff because number one, it gives me new ideas to be creative and innovative. Yep. Because I love to share my creativity, and I love to be innovative with some of the things that I'm learning to do, because this is the fun. Yeah, this is the fun part for me. This is learning different streaming platforms, learning different video editing techniques, learning how to be creative with native video, doing all these things that I'm learning out here and reaching out to the people who are already doing it now, and just pretty much asking them for advice and questions. And they're so open to sharing. I'm so grateful when they do want to share with me, because I'm like a sponge. Please, 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 whatever information you have for me, I would love to learn it. And again, I love learning hands-on, because that's the best way that I'm going to be able to.
It's the only way, really. Honestly, it is the only way. You can read in a book all you want, but until you go out there and actually do something, it's a whole different thing. I could have read every book about owning a restaurant, and I still would have known nothing.
Yeah, you would have been like,
day one.
None of this applies right now. Gosh.
I read it in a book.
So let me just say hi to a few people real quick who've been joining. So Mike Padurano, thank you, my friend, brother. I appreciate it.
Mike, I love you.
Yeah. David Mumford, me and him have talked, and he's actually going to be on my show Wednesday. So thanks, David, for joining. And then Matthew Perkins, awesome brother. Thank you for joining and contributing. Again, that's the only thing that I still haven't figured out how well to do. Oh, Wendy, I'm sorry, Wendy's here too.
Oh, the commenting?
Yeah.
You know how I sucked at that in the beginning. I even called out on it. Don't comment.
So one of the good things that I do like about using StreamYard is the fact that with Facebook, with Twitter, and with YouTube, you can still pull up the comments. The only problem in all these platforms have not been able to do yet, because they don't have an open API, which is linked with LinkedIn, is you cannot pull up the comments. So I do have a hard time like toggling between, hey, let me look at the comments and see and do it. So I'm still because I'm still only had it for 2 weeks. So I'm still fairly new to me, but again,
you're doing good. So there is really no way on LinkedIn. It's really, really tough. You have to just go to where the post is and just go there. And if you're on your device here, you have to
through. And then sometimes you still have to refresh. And then sometimes when you refresh, you've passed comments that people have already put on there.
So desktop is the easiest way to do comments. That's the only way to do comments on there. Really.
So I'm working on getting a secondary screen so I can actually do that, because I do use my computer now to kind of stream through there, which is kind of hard to pull into the technical side and then trying to look at the comments through there. But
I know what you're talking about.
So I'm learning. I'm sitting here talking with somebody who's experienced it a little bit more than I do, but I do understand now some of the people who've had complaints, and like, gosh, it's a little bit tough, but again, it's this, to me, it's the fun part of being able to at least be here on LinkedIn. Yeah. And I get to stream to the platform that I love more, using more, and connecting with more people on. So
you're making that digital footprint. You're building it.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. And episode 50, Virgie Van Horst, thank you so much for hopping on. I've enjoyed our evening and our time, and congratulations on the new venture, and hope nothing but the best for that. And I want to have you back on later on, and we can update about
Yes.
how all of that's actually worked out, because I think that's an interesting topic about people who, you know, not to say I don't want to downgrade anybody for what they do, but I do have a lot of respect for people who do run these brick and mortar businesses that have to try to figure out, especially right now, how to make things work,
Yeah.
because a lot of businesses are going to be closing their doors for good.
I know.
Because
I've seen it, and it's rough. I know, and it's a tough time, and people that I know personally that are just struggling. So for me, yeah, that's what I want to do. Is I want to figure this out and see if there's a way to give back and help some of these people, like, kind of maintain and then get to a place where they can thrive in this time. Because if you can survive during this time, then I'm confident you can make it, you know. But it is tough. I mean, honestly, firsthand, I was a little delusional about how much work it really was, but doing it for 3 weeks, and that's why you guys haven't seen me, because it is such a work, and I have such a deep respect, you know, for how much work goes into it, that it's almost like, for me, it's almost like something that I need to figure out to help these smaller businesses, to help them scale and bridge those offline, because it is possible. So for me, I'm not there yet, because I have to pay my dues. I have to make sure I get this down. But when I get this passed, I'm thinking 2-3 months, you know, focusing on this and helping other businesses. I think I'm going to have a pretty good strategy on how I can, one, help people easily, you know, embrace digital world and digital strategies, but also economically, like how to do it without breaking the bank. You know, what is the best, cheapest way, most streamlined way, just to get what they need to actually implement a digital strategy without, you know, like making it overwhelming to the point where it's done.
You know, because you're talking about a lot of these small businesses don't have thousands of dollars to throw into an advertising budget.
Especially now.
Yeah, so, you know, they're a lot of times, a lot of these small businesses that do opens and do this, they have to rely on word of mouth and that sort of thing. So
that's why organic traffic and the video and the personal branding, like I thought about it. I understand why people get stuck on personal branding with businesses, because they don't understand the personality of the business. But then I decided it's not personal branding, it's personable branding.
There you go.
You're taking something that's a business, and you need to figure out how that business can relate to consumer in a real way, in a way that speaks to them. So it's personable branding. And that's kind of like something, like, through my like understanding of personal branding, and where people get stuck on that word. You know, they just think Gary Vee and personal branding is me as an individual being an influencer. And we're building your digital reputation, building your digital trust. So if I say take your business and make it personable, so that it actually speaks to a human, then maybe that will give somebody a different epiphany and see what we're talking about from a different perspective.
Yeah, you know, and again, I know I've been to plenty of these places. I've dealt with many of these places before, where you can go somewhere and say, hey, you know, what do you guys have? What's your website? And they go, well, we don't have one.
They don't, because a website costs $3,000 to $5,000. So what I'm doing is actually, in fact, I've just been so busy, but I have like 5 people that I'm building landers for. I got a ClickFunnels account. I'm going to build a bunch of landers. I can put 9 people on the ClickFunnels account, build them landers, get their menus out, because their only menu is on Facebook right now. And Facebook, if you're on here and you go to it, you have to be logged in. If you don't have the app on your phone, then you don't know what it is. So they should have a website. So it's easily, they come up, and I even told every single one of them, get a LinkedIn account. Because why? They're like, well, we don't do social. I'm like, one, you should be talking about the experiences you have as a business and what you're doing as a business, not just trying to sell your food or sell your product, but how you as a business are coping during this time. That's a way to create content for your business. And also the SEO on LinkedIn is awesome on Google. Like, just having that alone means you have another search that comes up for your business on LinkedIn. And that's another reason. So it's just all these little things, and realizing that this is organic traffic that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about putting up a Facebook ad and doing a paid ad. I'm talking get personable with your brand and creating content that speaks to a human consumer. That's it.
Yes. And that's one of the best and easiest ways to go ahead and implement these things into a business that doesn't even have a social imprint. So
Exactly. Easiest, fastest, and cheapest way.
Ways to do it, and again, that's what a lot of small businesses have to do. And you don't have these $1 million budget, $10,000. You don't even have nothing to spend on a.
But Gabriel, even if they had a budget, even if they had, let's say a business had right now a $3,000 budget on Facebook, and they said, you know what, I'm going to go and dump $3,000 into my Facebook, they'll lose it. They'll lose that because they don't know how to market on Facebook. You just don't go put $3,000 budget. There's a whole strategy. So that would actually, even if they had a budget, they would still lose that. So even with that, I would never ever put any money into a Facebook advertising budget until you've tested with organic traffic.
There you
go. So even more so, they should, even if they have that money, they still should actually work on the organic traffic, figure out their offer, and then when they have that dialed in, only then do you go and do Facebook advertising. But even then, you need to make sure you have the right person, because you can blow $3,000 in one day if you don't have things set up the right way. Yeah. And it's very, very easy to do, and it sucks, and that's where people get discouraged and burnt out. And that's why I say, if you own the organic traffic, you can't really lose, because at the end of the day, you're still building the brand equity in your digital footprint, and that is there for you. And all that took was time, and it really does pay off, because even with the content you're creating, you're saying people are starting to come to you. People are, and it works. It works. Yeah. Only works if you work it.
Exactly. And you get it out there and you just do, again, create posts, be consistent with them. So it's like, every Tuesday we have specials. We post them on Facebook every week, and people will start looking for them. Hey, it's Tuesday. We're going to check it out. They got something else going on, that sort of thing. Because I know that my cousin does the same sort of deal. So that's how she's built a lot of her traffic, is through Facebook, just doing this.
Send me afterwards the restaurant and everything. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, most definitely. And she works a lot on getting her review ratings up there. So she keeps that up there a lot. She keeps on top of it. She does all her own little social media. So
nice.
Yeah. So again, she works really hard at it. But I've always told her, just keep proactive with it, and keep integrating and finding different ways to implement certain things into the business that will help you. Because again, we're not spending thousands of dollars on a budget here. We're, it's pretty much word of mouth, people, small community, coming in and just sharing and supporting. And again, it builds over time.
It does build over time. And honestly, like, community is really, really important, especially now. Like, community is really, really important, like online. Like, we build communities online. And you know how when people get into these little groups, how important that is. But now with the social distancing, even before social distancing, before all this happened, there was a real rise in live events.
Yeah.
There was a real rise. Like, I noticed a lot of, for a while, the events weren't such a big deal. They were kind of flat. But now everybody wanted to do events, and then this happened.
Yeah.
Oh, great. You know what I mean? But
yes,
people do want to connect. They do need a community. So during this time is to build community within your community, small communities, really important, because people are feeling so disconnected within just connecting, period. But also building them online too. So I love communities, but this is the first time I've really, really embraced my local community in the way that I have. So for me, that's been a huge difference, because before this, I never needed to get a lead from my local community, it was friends or whatever, but usually my business came from online leads or other mining leads from other places. It was never really just me door knocking. So for me to actually embrace the community that I'm actually living in, it's pretty cool. It's really cool. The amount of this John Tolson from the city chamber of commerce is really, really really love what we're doing, and all the stuff of personal branding, and he's embracing me into the local community and all these small businesses. So I'm just it's just right now, anybody who's feels stuck, and with this COVID-19, they feel like they just got thrown off track, and they were working on something, and they feel like it was just, the carpet was just pulled out from under them. Just take a moment to think, You know, if you have a chance to realign yourself with something, you know, focus on something you're passionate about. Make sure you keep your eyes open and make sure you do see like another opportunity that might be coming your way that you weren't planning on, but maybe this will be a time, because I just know a lot of people are embracing new things, learning new things about themselves. And this is a time that maybe, like even my husband, we went into just being just financial, and now he's gone into this new venture, and now he's a chef. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we would have been like trying to control every little thing, I don't know that we would have let this happen, because our minds were said, oh, we've never done it before, we can't do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's really just even though these are scary, maybe it's pushing you on a different course. You know, and
Exactly.
the only thing is I wanted to just make yourself, like, if you're in that moment, just make sure just keep a strong mindset, make sure you're connecting with people, but make sure you're embracing new opportunity, because you never quite sure where that might lead you.
Yes. Don't ever close that door. So
No, never.
thank you very
Gabriel. You're the best. I love you. I feel like I got more. I was like, it's been four weeks I've been off. You know, it's reinvigorated me. So
there you go. So now, yes, I love that. And again, thank you, Virgie, for coming on. Thank you for, setting a path for me, doing these things. And I'm very, very grateful. And I'm so glad that you're doing this venture that you're doing. And I wish you nothing but the best. So, guys, check her out. Again, you can go to her website, www.virgievanhorst.com. She's still doing a lot of the other things, but
I'm doing it all.
doing it all now. So, guys, reach out to her. If you're not connected with Virgie, please do. You're missing out if you're not. So, again, thank you so much, Virgie. I do appreciate the time this evening. We will do this again in the future, because I do want to get a kind of an update, and I would love to have you back on the show. So
you got it anytime, Gabriel.
there you go, guys. So, guys, thank you again for coming along, and thank you everybody who's commented, everybody who's dropped in the comments. Guys, you can catch it in the replay again. Just drop the comments down below. I will respond to them as soon as I get off and do a few of the other things. But tomorrow, let me just give a little bit of shout out to tomorrow's guest. So tomorrow, 7 o'clock, I'm going to have Amanda Relay Voss on, and she has her own social media marketing company that she runs. So we're going to have a conversation about social marketing again, and kind of go into her journey. So just a little bit of shout out to her. And then Wednesday, 7 o'clock, I'm having David Mumford on, and we're going to be talking about his journey and what he has to share and what he's been learning about social media as well, because he's starting out, and I wanted to share this platform, give him the opportunity to get himself out there and tell people that, you can just learn social media. You can get on here, start connecting with people, and the universe will open up and start showing you new things, new paths. So,
100%.
yes, 100%. And then, yeah. And then again, Thursday evening, we're doing something a little different, which is my little bit take of being innovative. I'm actually having Wendy Gahulia host my own show, and she's going to be interviewing Kristen A. Sherry on my show. I'm going to be technically directing and doing all the background stuff, but I'm going to let her have the seat and do the interview.
You.
So I wanted to share the stage, and this idea actually formulated with my conversation with Brian Schulman, of all people. So, we were talking about sharing this, kind of what he does when he invites people on his LinkedIn, and he does it with his StreamYard. So I said, why not do that? I need to do the same thing. He said, I'm going to have somebody host my show and do the whole interview. So I'm just going to be technically directing. I'll be here and I'll be doing everything in the background, but she's going to be hosting the show. She's going to be doing the questions. She's going to be doing all of it. So
that's cool experience for you to give to somebody, though.
Yeah. So we're going to do that. And I do have another guest. I've had it with two people. I put this out there a couple of weeks ago, and I offered people a platform if they want to learn how to get onto video streaming and social media. Come on my show, host it. I'll do a lot of technical background work if you're intimidated by that. Right. And you just do the conversation, and I'm pretty sure you can do that. So that's a different aspect.
I'm so happy I inspired you. Look what you're doing. You're doing so much other good for other people. That is That's
So
what it's about. Thank you.
yeah. So and then Friday, my guest is going to be Di Manuel. We're going to be talking about him and his journey in healing, and he does a lot of physical training and that sort of thing, teaching people how to use training and that sort of thing into building a better self, spiritually, mentally, the whole 9 yards. So I love having these people on who bring these positive messages and share these things that can add value to somebody else's life. That's the fun part about doing what I do and what we do. So thank you again, Virgie. I'm so happy that you came on the show. And
Gabriel, very, very proud.
and I'll talk to you again, guys, soon. Just hold tight. I want to have a few conversations with you afterwards.
Okay.
Everybody else, y'all have a good evening. Stay safe. Practice good social distancing. Follow all your social and order in place for a reason. We'll get past all of this. Things are starting to open back up. Just please be cautious. Please be careful out there because, again, we still don't have an answer, but at least we do have some kind of way to protect ourselves and that sort of thing. So be safe out there, everybody, and I'll see you again tomorrow evening, 7 o'clock, same time. Y'all be safe. Bye-bye, everybody.